Live from Edward T. Berry Ice Rink on the campus of UMass Boston for the season finale of this 22-23 Beacons season at Senior Day, as the Beacons will play host to Castleton University. Good afternoon, everybody. Andrew Bluestein alongside my broadcast partner, Matt Meisenbacher. We thank you for joining us on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Well, Mizey, Senior Day here. We have 8 seniors graduating. Obviously, you're an alumni of this program. Just talk a little bit about what it's like as your last game in this building, and it will be, as unfortunately the Beacons lose last night. It seals their fate as a road team in the tournament.
Yeah, really tough, because you'd love to come into this game with the expectation that if we win, we can get home ice or at least have a chance, right? That's gone. I think senior night is special in a lot of ways. I think, for one, a lot of these players have come from a lot of different backgrounds. When you look at the roster, they're not just from Massachusetts or the New England area. They're from all over. So I think it's special for me to see the parents particularly come in from everywhere across the country to enjoy this moment. It means a lot. They only get a few minutes before they have to play. So you get a couple minutes, right, to take a picture with your mom and dad, and we'll say a few words about each player. But it's an interesting feeling because it's a little sentimental, but then right away you've got to get right to the game. And this is a big game. I mean, for the Beacons, they're a little bit locked in terms of where they're going to finish. They're waiting seeing to see Elmira or Skidmore where they're going to play next year, or next week rather. But for this game to win at home and finish the regular season with a win, and particularly get to 500, I think is important for this group.
Yeah, we talked about off the air right before we went on. 8 seniors, that's high volume. You don't really see that many seniors last there, or at least till the end, and pretty cool to see that.
It is. I think, like you said, what we talked about was a lot of times you'll come in as a group. Even coming in as a group of 8 is a lot. But to have that group follow through for these years, and don't forget, there's still a COVID effect, right? We had a year we missed. You hear a lot. A lot of these seniors only played 3 years. They lost a year with COVID. So, that's particular to this group, and I think you're right. I mean, 8 seniors, to have that core, that senior leadership, is something special. I know with my graduating class, we only had 4. So it's half of what you're going to see here tonight, and it's just special to carry that group all the way from freshman year to senior year.
Also, another cool tidbit is that all seniors are dressed for this game, too.
Yeah, something Coach Blyle makes a point to try and do, and there's obviously been some injuries which have probably helped in that regard, but something I think really, particularly Coach Blyle, and you'll see here, he's got a dilemma too. He likes to start every senior. He doesn't have the opportunity to do that, being that there's 8. So we'll give each player a little bit of time here today, but very special regardless.
As we're just about to start our Senior Day ceremonies here. And our first senior they're going to introduce, Ryan Bogan, defenseman. Ryan Bogan has registered 4 goals and 10 assists in his Beacons career from Brick, New Jersey. As you see him go over to greet his parents on the Beacons bench.
Logs a lot of minutes for this team. You'll see him again here tonight, and consistently over his career has logged a lot of minutes for the Beacons.
Our next senior, Nick DeLuzio from Ashton, Pennsylvania. Another defenseman, 2 career goals, 10 assists.
Co-captain, great kid, and just below us in the broadcasting booth, I think we've got maybe 15 people that are representing DeLuzio jerseys here today. Something special. Yeah.
I saw a few of those in the crowd. There's a couple here last night as well. And next senior, Andy Walker from Detroit, Michigan, Hockey Town. One thing to note, Walker scoring a hat trick this year.
I'll talk a little bit about the Men in Blades. You're going to hear it here with Walker, and I would assume Jay Atkins will be next. These guys, for those that don't know or maybe aren't on social media as much, these guys skated from Boston, Massachusetts, all the way out. I forget that maybe it was Detroit. It was halfway across the country, rollerbladed. Which is
awesome.
astounding. Yeah, when you think about what that takes, if you've rollerbladed just around your block, it's exhausting to do
absolutely.
that a few weeks at a time to get, and they've done it twice now from Boston all the way out. They've routed the entire way. It amazes me that they were able to do it, but these two guys in particular will carry that special bond for the rest of their lives, I'm sure, no matter where they end up. These guys will be friends for life just based on that alone, let alone the fact that they were college teammates.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing. As Jade Atkins was just introduced from Centennial, Colorado. There's now Davis Browning being introduced out of Dallas, Texas. Don't see that too often in hockey.
It's becoming more and more common. You know, we've had a couple players from Texas that have come through this team in the last few years. Drew Gannon's one that comes to mind, and I think Browning, the resounding note I get with Browning is team favorite. The guys love him.
Of course, he was able to sneak in his first goal last weekend.
Very important.
There's now Ryan Rowland being introduced over by the bench, another defenseman.
Notice a theme here. Most of these guys defensemen, a few forwards, but most of these guys defensemen, they've carried their weight. And like you're going to hear me say it a lot, just log a lot of minutes, these guys, over their career. And minutes played is something that is a stat we don't typically carry, but something that these guys have dedicated a lot in terms of ice time, and minutes played would not even factor in practice time.
Ryan Rowland from Manahawkin, New Jersey, as Dakota Kincannon just being introduced, who's been battling injury this season out of Warwick, New York. As now our final senior grad student, netminder Liam Murray, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Graduate senior, and played a couple games, I think, right? Six games this year. Tough for him, right? They have a transfer goalie, Bell, who was called in, so that limited his minutes a little bit on the second half. Bell's now injured, so Murray's back to being the number 2, and as Sam Best gets introduced here, he's the starter, but you know this, the number 2's always got to be ready.
Sam Best, of course, has played spectacular hockey this season. Arguably the Beacon's MVP, really, in terms of his play.
I would agree. I mean, his statistics, I think his save percentage alone speaks volumes. A 91 for a team that really doesn't score much. Their goals per game are down this year. Defensively, they're somewhat strong, but I think Sam Best has been the guy that's been the most consistent for this team over the course of the year.
Yeah, 2.56 goals against average, a .911 save percentage. That's stellar numbers for a goaltender. Of course, Sam Best, Woburn, Massachusetts native, as all the seniors now have been introduced. Their family receiving a nice bouquet of flowers on the bench as they'll head back into the stands. And they'll introduce the starting lineups here, but we'll step aside for a brief moment here on Senior Day. Really cool seeing all those guys meeting their parents on the bench. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you. We'll be right back for Puck Drop here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
And welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you as we take a look at this afternoon's starting goaltenders. First, for the visiting Castleton University Spartans, it'll be Simon Bretner, the sophomore out of Wien, Austria. Comes in with a 0-1-0 record, a 7.42 goals against average, a .714 save percentage. Those numbers are inflated because I believe that became in a relief appearance. And for the UMass Boston Beacons, senior Sam Best out of Woburn, Mass. As we just saw him greet his family on the bench. Best coming in with an 8-9-0 record, a 2.52 goals against average, a .914 save percentage. And Mizey, this game, not a lot of implications really. Beacons can only finish as high as the 5th seed after the loss against Skidmore last night. Castleton locked into that 8th and final spot. They'll play Hobart in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, tough matchup. Hobart is somebody, they won 6-0 last night. Somebody you want to avoid if you can. Probably going to meet them eventually, depending on how far you advance. They look strong this year.
And we're underway here from Boston as the puck dumped in. Beacons looking to control DeLuzio. Move it to the near side. That one moved ahead by Adkins, but it goes all the way to Zach Whitaker. Now Zach Trepner will send things in on Sam Best, and he'll be forced to take a whistle not even 30 seconds into this hockey game.
Tradition for UMass to start all seniors on senior day when applicable. Tough when you have 8. You can only play 5. But I guess you got to make a judgment call there, right? That's why as a coach, man, sometimes that's tough. How do you make a decision between one senior versus another?
I was going to say you could pull the goalie for the extra attacker, but then you lose the senior because both your goalies,
right,
or 2 of them at least, are seniors. As that one chipped all the way down the ice, so and icing here. Another quick whistle as this puck, or the faceoff rather, will come all the way back down to the Beacons' end.
Would fully expect them to get back to the regular lineup as soon as possible. We're seeing that here with the top line now out there. And a little bit of a change up here from last night's roster. Guggens with Friedman and Bordeaux. So Bordeaux and Friedman move up. Clifton moves down. And then with the injury to Duncan, you've got a hole there that the Beacons have now filled on the third line.
Brady Friedman now with it. We'll leave it off for Evan Guggens. Guggens now with it on the near side. He'll try to cut towards the middle, but he got canceled up by Brandon Picard. That one sent back to center. Krapinski tries to play it ahead. Brady Friedman, a nice move through the neutral zone. Ryan Bogan moves it ahead. Owen Bordeaux now sends it in. The Beacons will get a full change. Leaving it off is Simon Bretner. That one chipped ahead by Picard, and this will be another icing. 18 47 to go, opening period. Not much doing here yet, Mizey.
Slow start.
Yeah.
Slow start. Which is unique on senior day. You know, usually it's the opposite. It's almost too fast.
Manzo on the face-off with Stone Stetzel, as that will be canceled out for a false start, so we'll do it again. Stetzel and Manzo. Manzo wins it. As that one chipped back to center. Ryan Rowland now with it. The play it on the near side. Corey Clifton will send it in cross corner. Takes a funky bounce off the kick blade, almost goes in on goal as it sits behind the net. Jake Atkinson will move it ahead, taking a hit. A nice move there. Centering pass, broken up though by Pat Keegan as Jackson Edwards tried to maneuver that to the front of the net. Tied up in the referee skates on the far corner. Now that one will trickle in towards the crease, and Sam Betts will freeze it for a whistle. So
not much to talk about so far.
I was going to say, this is
A little bit light.
a little bit of dead air there. Is just a few whistles, a couple of icings, and
That's all right. If it keeps up, I'll start telling stories from the glory days.
Jacob Banks now looks to head man it up. He'll chip it in. Down behind the net, out to play it is Bretner. He'll move it over for Stone Stesel. Bankowskis gets her the way of that exit pass. He'll get the puck in the corner. Bankowskis behind the net. Will chip it off the boards. Nick DeLuzio tees it up. Deflected save. Rebound. They score! Jacob Banks on the rebound in front. And the Beacons strike first.
Yeah, really a nice play, shot from the point, and there's a rebound there. I thought Banks played really well last night. I really did, and here he comes again tonight, just picking up where he left off. He's on the fourth line. But boy, we've mentioned his name a lot, and like his read on this play, the timing at which he came in to get this rebound is why the goal was scored. If he gets there any earlier, that puck gets past him. He read the play perfectly. It might have been tipped on the way in, which created that rebound, but Banks was definitely the one who scored, and the Beacons have a quick 1-0 lead.
It was Nick DeLuzio who threw it on net from the point. And Jacob Banks, the junior from Westminster, Mass, will grab his 5th of the season. And the Beacons with an early goal here on senior day as that one chipped ahead, sent in by Anthony Percy. Michael Krapinski now moves it to the near side for Jake Atkins. Trampolines off his skates. Goes to the far side. Kincannon will move it ahead for Andy Walker. Andy Walker enters, leaves it off for Atkins, throws one towards goal, sticked away by Bretner. Kincannon stays with it. Krapinski now up top. D to Bogan. Bogan throws it towards the middle, deflected by Kincannon, but doesn't get through. Another chance for Kincannon. Stays with it, and a save by Bretner up against the near post. Tied up now in the corner. Flipped up to Krapinski. He throws it towards goal. A pad save by Bretner. Another chance and another pad save by Bretner from the other side.
Love the fact the Beacons are shooting. Love to see it.
Krapinski, another shot goes just wide on the blocker. As that one thrown on goal, padded away by Bretner. Bogan now tied up in the corner. Kincannon throws it towards goal, goes wide. Krapinski pinching in, will one-hand it into the corner. As he's tied up with Romeo Terrain. Now Kincannon at the hash marks, throws it towards goal, deflects wide over the net. Another chance on the back door. Walker throws it off the side of the goal. Castleton will finally chip it back to center. As
Talk about being pinned in your own zone, Andrew. And they're going to come in right back. Here come the Beacons again.
Ryan Rowland will bring it in. Rowland in the corner. Will walk back up to the point. They'll move it for Evan Guggens. Guggens' shot goes just wide. And that one will rim around all the way back to the Beacons' end.
And that's just tough for me to see there. You know, you've got them pinned in their own D zone, and you just give them a free out on that. Now you got to restart from your own zone there. Guggens knows better. He's got to find a way to get that on net.
Evan Guggens with a nice move now through center ice. He'll bring it in, tries to throw it on goal. Goes into the skates of Zach Papetros. Say that 3 times fast. As
no thanks.
Warning in advance, I'm probably going to have some trouble with that name.
No. I have all the confidence in the world.
As now Guggens tries to move it ahead. Now Grady Friedman on the far side. Wheels it for Guggens. Guggens tries to maneuver it to the front, but Zach Papapetros.
There you go.
Cancel that out. I've always felt bad for the broadcaster that has Andreas Athanasiou in the NHL on his team. He's right now with the Chicago Blackhawks. But names are sometimes hard to pronounce in this business. But that's what I signed up for, as Corey Clifton will bring it in, but the Beacons are offside.
And now you're starting to see the tempo rise a little bit right here. We'll take a look at the replay on the goal, and just a nice play. And this is where the Beacons have had success, working the puck low to high, quick shot. It's redirected on the way in, and then you see the timing on Banks just coming across, right? Recognizing where that shot's coming from, and this will be a perfect angle. Watch how 5 will just see how he turns his body there and is looking, expecting a rebound. I think that's a great recognition by 5 and a great play overall, but really like to see the Beacons work that puck low to high. I think that's where they've had the most success.
Ty Matthews went hard into the boards there as that puck gets chipped back to center. Nick DeLuzio now with it. Moves it ahead for Matthews. Has Clifton. Clifton. Nice move, but it was canceled out. A nice defensive play there by Cedric Theodore. As back the other way come the Spartans. That one left off. Theodore tries to move around DeLuzio, but he's able to get in front of that puck. Manzo back to center, but the Spartans control. Bringing it in is Balit Mesterhazy.
There's another good one for
out
you.
of your Hungary, as Carabelli throws one towards goal, and I believe that got the crossbar and up and out of play.
Yeah, it certainly did. Goaltender was beat. Love this. Now this is 3 shifts in a row here for the Beacons. All in the offensive zone, really attacking Castleton with speed. And I think for me, what stands out is just the quick shot, right? Get into the zone. If you've got an angle, get it to the net as fast as possible. I really like what I've seen so far with the Beacons.
Stone Stezel tried to move that ahead, flipped up high in the air. Jacob Banks knocks it down. The Beacons goal scorer will flip it in around the kick blade. Out to play it is Simon Bretner. Krapinski sticks it towards the goal. Bankowski's a chance. Pad save. There by Bretner right in front. Back the other way comes Castleton. Jackson Edwards will leave it off for Jason Atkinson. Jacob Banks able to win that puck though. Bankowskis chips it back to center. With it now is Zach Papapetros. He'll backhand it in, but Andy Walker on the back check, able to win that puck. Dakota Kincannon on the far side will try to maneuver it back to center. He's able to, but the Spartans control. They give it away. Andy Walker leaves it off for Atkins, who throws it right into the gut of Bretner, and he'll freeze it for a whistle with 13-12 to go in this first period.
You can really keep the lines moving here. We've seen each line now so far, and each one looks like they've came ready to play. I think if you're the coaching staff, you like what you've seen so far. Still early in this hockey game, but you've now given each line an opportunity to generate some offense, and they've done so. I think you feel confident about all 4.
Jackson Koboleka able to win that draw as Castleton tries to muscle it out of their own end. They do, up to center. That one chipped in by Hunter Sorrow. Sam Best will collect that off the boards. Pat Keegan now with it. Will move it over for Ryan Rowland. Ahead for Jake Atkins. Atkins will enter. Throwing it. That one was going wide, but gloving it is Bretner, and he'll take another whistle.
And that's a good move by Bretner, right? It's slow it down. Seems like it's really weighted on the Beacon side so far. If you can slow things down as goaltender, recognizing the pace of play is not in your favor currently. Slowing it down, get as many faceoffs as you can, see if you can bring that tempo down a little bit slower.
Coogan's up the face-off win from Bordeaux, and that one right in the gut again of Bretner, who will hold it. So we'll do it again. Bordeaux and Trepner on the face-off. Trepner wins it this time. That one chipped over. Zach Whitaker tries to move it ahead. Nice job, though, by Grady Friedman to win the battle. He's tied up in the corner. Friedman able to come with it. Behind the net. Will stop in the corner. Now back behind the net. Runs into the goal and knocks it off. And we saw that a couple of times here last night, and it happens again early on here. So they face off to the neutral zone.
And I'm glad to see Friedman up and okay. He's coming in with some good speed. I mean, he can motor. And when you hit the net like that, with a forward behind the net, you're trying to get as close as you can to the net as possible to create that wraparound opportunity. And sometimes if you cut it too close, which is what I think happened there, you just clip it a little bit. Sometimes you can get caught up. Seems to be all right. He's still on the ice.
Evan Guggen's able to win that face-off. as Davis Browning will hammer that one in. Goes all the way around. DeLuzio pinching in, will send it back the other way. Friedman, a big collision there as he put the body into Theodore. As Zach Tremper now with it. We'll move it into the middle as that one goes just under the stick of Andrew Stafura. As Browning tied up with Bryce Irwin in the corner. Irwin now with it. Centering pass, a chance. Great save by Sam Best. Got it with the blocker, point blank.
Not sure he saw it. Or if he did, he didn't see all of it. He was kind of looking across the ice after he had made the save to find out where it was. And that's just trusting your angle. Great save by Best.
Castleton having a little trouble with it as Dugan's able to win it. That one throw towards the goal and blocked it away by Bretner. Now Bryce Irwin will flip it back to center as both teams will change up, or at least Castleton will. The Beacons a partial change as Guggens heads off. That one sent in far out of his net was Bretner. He'll play it around. Now with speed is Mesterhazy. He'll bring it in on the far side. Tries to chip it in on Best, and Best holding the post. Does a nice job there, and he'll freeze it.
Good by Castleton getting that puck to the net. They haven't been able to test Best, I bet, as much as they would have liked at this stage of the hockey game, almost halfway through the first period. Other than that save he had just made, they really haven't been able to generate much. And that's something I think this Castleton team has struggled with most of the season. Just the offensive side, not as highly touted as they've been historically.
Jankowskis tries to move it ahead, but a loose stick of Dylan Roebuck got in the way of that puck. As Castleton will control. That one sent by Kyle Sargent back into the Beacons' end. Krapinski now with it. Will flip it off the glass high and out of play into the Beacons' bench. So the faceoff will stay in the UMass zone. 10:45 to go in this first period. But we've had some more pace pick up since the beginning.
Yeah, I would agree. Less whistles, although recently we've had a few, but the tempo was definitely there, and I think the Beacons were able to stack at least 4 or 5 shifts to my recognition in a row offensively, which I think is something that they didn't really have last night against Skidmore. It may be 3, 4 max. Already in this hockey game, they've possessed a lot more offensively than they did last night.
Jankowskis with a chance. Tries to throw it towards goal. That was blocked, though, by Papapetros. Pat Keegan able to keep it in at the blue line momentarily, being battled for right in front of the Castleton bench. And I believe it's going to be ruled a hand pass.
Yeah. Wasn't offside. Has to be a hand pass.
The officials discussing. Faceoff will come into the neutral zone right in front of the Castleton bench. So Andy Walker and Jackson Kobelka on the faceoff as Castleton controls. That one flipped in by Papapetros. Centering pass attempt there by Saro goes off the apron of the goal. Saros will stay with it though. Wheels it towards goal. Pat saved Best. As Kobelka tried to wrap around it, but Beacon's able to disrupt it as it comes to the near side. Jake Atkins will chip it back to center. Chip right back in though. Davis Browning with it. Will move it across for Nick DeLuzio, his defense partner. Kincannon tried to headman it ahead as it's disrupted by Saro, and both teams will change up here as the puck in front of the scorers table. Now flipped in for the near side. Krapinski will play it around. Out of the reach of Ryan Bogan. Swooping in is Stafura. Throws it towards goal. A save by Sam Best. Now a chance from up top. That one blocked by Bogan off the ceiling, and a whistle.
The puck was a little dangerous right before they're coming across. If a Spartan had been there, that would have been a tough save for Best.
So the face-off will stay in the UMass zone. Evan Guggens and Zach Trepner on the face-off. The two top lines out there for both teams. Under 10 minutes to go in this first period. Guggens wins the face-off. Ryan Rowland able to get it for Pat Keegan. Now Owen Bordeaux looks to move it out. Gets it to center. He'll flip it in. Back to get it is Cedric Theodore. Guggens staples him to the boards. Now Bordeaux comes in. Coogan's had it whacked away. It goes all the way to the far side. Francis Young-Menard now moves it ahead as Bryce Irwin able to get a piece of it. Pat Keegan gets tripped up, no call. Freddie Friedman will chip it in. As Hill hammered Bryce Irwin into the boards. Moving it through the middle was Trepner. As Young-Menard now will move it over, and that one's sent in by Andrew Stafura. Pat Keegan takes a tumble behind his own net as Dylan Roebuck was on him, but swooping in was Mike Manzo to win the puck.
That's twice now on this shift. His best covers it up. I thought Keegan, and he's going to talk to the referees. I would too. I saw twice on that shift that he was tripped. Once in the offensive zone and once in the defensive zone. And you know what? I think that's great as a player. You don't have to be aggressive about it, but just letting the referee know that you're there, you know, and, hey, what's going on? I got chipped twice and no call. You know, I think it might not pay any dividends, but I think at least let the referee know that, hey, I think you might have missed two there.
Manzo throws it towards goal, and a nice glove save there by Simon Bretner with 8:10 to go, first period.
Curious to see if they can get Clifton going a little bit on this line. He was a little quiet yesterday, and I think Manzo and Matthews are the type of players that really most of this offense, Friedman got moved up to the first line. I thought the second line with Friedman on it yesterday was their best line. They moved him up, so let's see if they can get number 10 going a little bit here tonight.
Ty Matthews threw it towards goal off the faceoff. It went wide. Tied up in the corner now. Matthews and Manzo taking at it. That one deflects, and coming out with it is Jackson Edwards. He'll chip it out to center. As Stone Stezel will take it around behind the net. Moves it to the point for Romeo Terrain. That shot gets blocked by Clifton. Back to center. Terrain moves it over D to D for Kyle Sargent. Gives it away. Clifton throws it towards goal. And a nice save there by Bretner. Looked like Clifton got tripped up on that one.
Thought so too. Letting him play.
As Bankowskis runs into Romeo Terrain in the neutral zone. Another big hit there by Krapinski. No surprise. Jacob Banks. Krapinski. Now Bankowskis. Cross-ice pass for Carabelli. As Bogan had that one disrupted by Zach Whitaker. That one thrown towards the goal by Bogan. It'll go to the corner. Gino Carabelli with it. Carabelli takes it up top, not able to keep it in. Stays with it though in the neutral zone. Leaves it out for Ryan Bogan. Moves it ahead for Jacob Banks, who couldn't handle that pass. As the Spartans will look to move things ahead, and that shot goes up and out of play off the stick of Hunter Sorrow. So another face-off here in the UMass zone.
And I think Castleton has responded quite well. Beacon's there. First half of this first period looked like it was really just in dominating fashion offensively. They were pretty much doing whatever they wanted in the offensive zone. Since then, Castleton has responded and getting some opportunities of their own, making it at least more difficult for the Beacons to generate some offense.
This puck will go back in to the Beacon zone, and of course, a tripping call coming here against UMass, as we saw maybe two or three that Castleton was guilty of, and of course the Beacons will have the first penalty.
That's the way it goes, right? You know, they miss a couple, and then there's one that's just right in front of the referee. That one's as easy as they come. And Cannon will sit on the tripping call. An opportunity here for the Spartans to tie this game up. 6:31 left in the first. Take a look at this replay here. Pretty simple call for the referee. That stick gets down by the skates. Easy call right in front of him, too. That doesn't help your case.
Castleton with 22 power play goals on the season, sitting at 17.6%. As they'll control. Bryce Irwin with it. Moving it up top for Papa Petros. Irwin will shoot. That one blocked by Carabelli. Stays in the rink off the high glass. Pat Keegan now breaks his stick behind the net. So could have been a 5-on-3.5, but Beacon's able to get it back to center. It looks like Bankowskis might have got hooked on that, but the official's not willing to call it. Another chance in front. Oh, a great opportunity there by Trepner, but he was canceled out by, I believe it was Jacob Banks. And now Banks will Headman to the head. Jacob Banks a shorthanded opportunity. Banks an alone a shot and a save by Brentner.
That's a huge save for the Spartans. Banks, one of the hottest beacons right now on a breakaway, shorthanded, and Brenter comes up with it.
Simon Brenter has been busy early here. As that one moved ahead. Under a minute now to go on the Castleton power play. That gets chipped in. Jason Atkins out of his reach. Now Terrain will send it in. As Terrain will now muscle it again for Atkinson. Stone Stezel will move it up top for Theodore. Stezel walking in. Will play it up. Browning skate. Wheeled loose in front. Best made the save, and he's able to find the rebound and tie it up for a whistle.
Great save by Best.
As we
Take a look at a quick replay here. This is the opportunity, I believe, by Banks. He gets that puck off the wall here and just catches the Spartans flat-footed there. Papapetros with nothing coming back. Banks was able to take it wide, and Brenter makes a nice stop. 27 seconds left still on this kill here. Nice save by Best there. That puck was loose in the crease. He was able to find it and get the whistle.
Cedric Theodore moves it over for Jackson Edwards. Edwards back to Theodore up top. We'll move it over for Terrain. Back to Theodore, knocked away. Look out for Bankowskis with speed. As a nice effort there, though, by Jackson Edwards. Able to dive and knock it away from Bankowskis. A 2-on-1 opportunity. Cutting to the middle. Great save by Best. And he is able to glove the rebound. Nice job by Sam Best.
That's incredible. The first save was nice enough. The second one, he's down on his keister. He's able to get that glove up and cover it for the whistle. Senior goaltender came to play. Nice stop. Two good stops.
Big save by Sam Best as the power play expires, so we're back to 5 aside. Kamazi, I usually don't like making comparisons for certain players, but
you're going to do it.
But I'm going to do it here. Sam Best reminds me a lot of Manny Legacy.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember him.
Where's the Vaughn patch just like him?
But Manny Legacy wasn't the biggest goalie, but he was able to move very well in his crease, much like Sam Best.
I think that's a good comparison, and I think a lot of NHL fans, particularly from Minnesota, will appreciate that reference.
As that one moved over to Guggens, but the Spartans will move things ahead. Brandon Picard throws one in on Best, and he'll glove it for a whistle with 4:04 to go.
Let's watch this save sequence once more. Spartans, Beacons get caught on the wall. And the Spartans just crash that, and just as he comes out, he's almost, it's funny, he's almost falling backwards making that save. You wonder if it was a little bit higher, if that would have ended up in the net. But still, to make that first save and then to continue to track the puck into the glove, a couple good saves. Another one there, that's redirected. You can tell Best is dialed in. When his rebounds, when there are no rebounds, quite frankly, you know Best is dialed in. We saw a couple times last night, the rebounds were leaking out a little bit, but tonight he's really been tracking well and seems to be absorbing the puck a lot more.
Davis Browning will move it ahead. Corey Clifton now with it. Back to Browning through the middle. He'll enter. Oh, they're going to say it was offside. And don't get me started with offsides after last night.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that was talking to the coaching staff, the training staff. Everyone had questions on what we saw up here, and the replay kind of showed something different than what the referees had called, but I'll put it behind you at this point.
As Nick DeLuzio will send that one in. Out to play it was Brenter. Now one chipped ahead. Bryce Irwin with it. Will go cross ice for Papapetros. He'll try to send it in. Goes off the skate of DeLuzio. Papapetros gets it, throws it on goal. Sam Best able to paddle it away. Castleton stays with it. That shot gets blocked as Corey Clifton will work it back to center. Moves it over for Ty Matthews. He'll chip it in. Puck hits a stanchion as playing it is Zach Whitaker. Moves it through the middle. Past his man, and Ryan Rowland will send it back in as Brenter out to play it. He'll leave it off for Papapetros, who moves it ahead. Bryce Irwin. He'll bring it in and he'll flip it in behind the net. Puck goes off the end boards. Dakota Kincannon able to reach that puck. A nice move through center ice. A 3-on-2 perhaps. Kincannon tried to thread the needle for Walker, but a nice defensive play there by Cedric Theodore. Kincannon stays with it. Krapinski now. That one in front off the stick of Andy Walker. As it goes behind the net, he'll try to wheel it. Now Dakota Kincannon brings it up top. Kincannon shoots that one, goes wide, but he gets his own rebound off the boards. Kincannon centering pass looking for Atkins. Pat Keegan, though, able to keep it in. Keegan to the backhand, tries to shoot it. Getting in the way, though, is Romeo Terrain. As Kincannon gets bumped hard from behind, and that's going to be a cross-check. And the Beacons will have their first power play of the afternoon.
That's a hard shift for Kincannon. He took a massive hit in the corner, and then another one from behind, which was the penalty that was called. You can see as we show him his hair, when you see that hair coming down in front of the face, you know they got banged up pretty good. He's going to need at least a shift off, unless he's staying on the ice. Good for him. He's tougher than me. Taking 2 hits like that, I definitely need at least a shift off, but the Beacons will have a power play.
So Andy Walker will take the face-off. Kincannon and Matthews up front with Googans and Rowland playing the point. As that puck gets tied up on the far side. Ryan Rowland tries to keep it in as it's whacked back to center. No, they say it stayed in, but the Beacons will tag up anyways. That one sent all the way down as Sam Best playing center field will glove it. They'll leave it off as the final 2 minutes now of this first period. Evan Googans with speed out of his own end. Takes it on the inside. Tries to maneuver it to the front. Hits a body, and in blockering it away there was Bretner. And that one goes all the way back to Sam Best.
Yeah, that puck was bouncing, Andrew. It looked like it had a chance to get to Brenter, and just before they got it, or got to Brenter, it was able to be cleared by the Spartans.
Minute 10 now approaching to go on the Beacons' first power play. There's that one tied up in the corner. Ty Matthews able to come away with it. Try to get it for Googans, but it goes under his stick all the way back to the Beacons' end as Ryan Rowland now will collect. Under a minute now to go on the UMass power play. Approaching a minute to go in the period. Centering pass for Clifton. He's able to maneuver to the forehand. Freddie Friedman now with it to Googans up top. Googans moves it over for Owen Bordeaux. Bordeaux in the corner will bank it off the kick plate for Clifton. Freddie Friedman now moving it up top. Evan Googans. Under a minute now to go in the first period. 30 seconds on the UMass power play. Owen Bordeaux, a nice move. Stays with it. Brings it in. Waits for Keegan off the bench. He tees one up. That goes just wide. And the puck will rim all the way around back to center. It's now the final 15 as Googans broke his stick and will just toss it into the corner.
Yeah, I think a little frustration with the way this power play has gone. Not their best.
Freddie Friedman threw it towards goal as Brenter was going back there and he blocked it away. As the power play expires, so we're back to 5-a-side inside the final 20 of the period. Clifton wheels it towards goal. That one sticked away by Brenter. Freddie Friedman, though, stays with it. Final 10 now of the period. Friedman bumped hard into the boards. Mike Manzo tried to wheel it in front, but good positioning there by Stone Stezel as he'll move it back to center, and that will do it for the first period. But the Beacons on Senior Day will take a 1-0 lead into the room.
Overall, pretty happy with the way the Beacons played that period, but I thought they got a little bit away from what was making them successful early on. When they scored this goal, it was that classic getting pucks deep, working out of the corners low to high, a shot from the point that was redirected and you could say screened. The rebound went in off Banks. That's where this team has found success. I think they got away from that a little bit in the second half of that first period. You could even see it on that power play. They were really mostly on the perimeter, having a tough time getting towards the front of the net. Really weren't generating much. This is not the type of team that is based on skill. It's based on hard work. Thought we saw a little bit too much of that skill type of play in that second half of that first period there. Still a 1-0 lead going in. I think overall you got to be pretty happy if you're Castleton. The way it started in that first half looked like it was going to be your goaltender was getting shelled. 16 shots on goal there for the Beacons in the first period, but then you kind of made up ground. I think the second half you could give the edge to Castleton. 10 shots on goal for them. Best had to come up with some good saves. Overall, a pretty even period, but Beacons capitalizing on that one play by Banks, and they've got a 1-0 lead after the first period.
So that'll wrap up our first period action. Senior Day here at Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Also the season finale, the regular season finale for these two teams, and the Beacons will take a 1-0 lead into the intermission over Castleton. We'll be back to go over our scoring summary and game stats. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you. We'll be right back on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Men's basketball looking to snap a 3-game losing streak on Saturday afternoon against Plymouth State University and improve to 7-5 in Little East Conference play. And just like with the women's game, it will be raining threes for the men as well. Mariana Olivia Rodriguez from the corner, and then Manny Zayas up top give the Beacons a 6-5 lead, and then Bobby Joy caps off a run for the Beacons with a 3 of his own. It's 9-5 in favor of the home team, but Plymouth State responding with a 9-0 run. Connor Walden breaks it up with a 3, makes it 14-12. But then the dunk of the day, the dunk of the season, the dunk possibly of the year in the nation, Malik Lorquette goes high over Avery Hazelton, who's a towering 6'9" center for Plymouth State, and he just posterizes him down low. You see it in slow-mo there, and just like that, momentum would shift in favor of the Beacons, and they would roll the rest of the way. Lorquette with a layup down low helps put the Beacons up by 5, and then Connor Walden goes to work with the layup of his own. Beacons up by 7 at that point. We head to the second half, an 8-0 run to start the second half. Tommy Burris capping it off with a 3 to make it an 11-point game, and then right back to Walden, who finished this game with 11 points off the bench in 14 minutes, 4 of 8 shooting. You see his last layup there, and one opportunity makes it a big double-digit lead for the Beacons, but then right back to Malik Lorquette, who had himself a big day, 28 points, 18 rebounds, his 17th double-double of the season, 10 of 20 shooting in 36 minutes for the big man, and then an emphatic dunk right there in the late stages of the second half. And then to cap off his big day, he sets the rebound record, breaking Terry Kennedy's record of 788 career rebounds. He gets 789 after his 18 rebound performance. The Beacons get a big 82-66 win at home to improve to 7-5 in conference play. The Beacons will look to keep the good times rolling on Wednesday night against Castleton University.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown, and it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey, and that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience. At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
Welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisbacher here with you on the Beacons Broadcast Network. UMass leading Castleton 1-0 after one period. The only goal coming from Jacob Banks at 2:11. Assist coming from Koye Bankowskis and Nick DeLuzio. That's Jacob Banks' 5th of the season, and that's all we got in that first period. As we'll take a look at our game stats thus far. Beacons out shooting Castleton 16-10. Sam Best 10 saves. Simon Brenter with 15. Beacons losing the face-off battle so far, 11-15, and both teams 0 for 1 on the power play. Anything stand out to you here, Mizey?
No, overall, I think a pretty solid, even period for both teams. I think they both had their opportunities to score. Let's not forget, this game should probably be 1-1 with that rebound save that Best made. That was outstanding. So I think the Beacons are fortunate to be up 1-0. They did some good things in that first period. I thought the first period was a little choppy for both teams. I really didn't see a constant flow to that period. There was a lot of whistles. Didn't really seem like either team was too comfortable. So that's something I'm going to look for in this second period. It's a little more tempo. That's been traditionally the way really any team in this conference plays, up and down the ice, each team getting some opportunities. I think that's more of what we're going to see for the rest of this hockey game.
You think that this being somewhat of an exhibition game kind of has anything to do with that? Obviously, Castleton locked into that 8th seed. UMass, they can either be the 5th or the 6th seed, depending on what Skidmore does against Johnson and Wales this afternoon. But you think that has anything to do with it?
More so on the Castleton side, right? Because there's nothing to be gained. It's not their senior night. They're on the road. They're probably just trying to do what they can to maybe get some momentum, have some confidence going into conference play next week, get on that bus and get back to home base. For the Beacons, you know, for it being otherwise I'd agree with you. I think for it being senior night, it's a little different. I think they probably have a little bit more on the line. You mentioned there's really not a lot they can do to control their destiny now with what happened last night. So I think that's got to be the focus in the locker room, is doing it for the seniors. And up 1-0, you've done enough to get the lead after one. But I think there's more to be had. I think we saw some spurts of it there in that first period. Got to be more consistent in the second.
Well, that'll wrap up our first intermission coverage. Once again, it's UMass leading Castleton 1-0. We'll be back for second period action shortly here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have an advisor helping you out, telling you which classes to choose.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just a starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like that place that people want to go. What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
Welcome back here inside Edwards E. Berry Ice Rink. As we're about to get set for second period action, both teams taking the ice. UMass already on the bench, as the Beacons will have a 1-0 lead to start things off, as we'll have the long change. And Mizey, well, we have a little bit of time here. I got to ask, Super Bowl Sunday, who do you got?
I'm not super into it this year. I don't know why. I'm usually
is it because you hate both teams like me?
No, well, Eagles, yeah, I'm for sure. I'm a Giants fan, New Jersey born and raised, so there's no way I'm rooting. And I got family now that are Eagles fans, so no way I'm rooting for them. I'll be on the Chiefs, but I don't know. I'm not as into it. Usually I'm a big football guy. Usually have some storyline that I get involved with. I'm just not super into it this year.
I'm with you on that one. I feel like it's two very unlikable teams. I feel like that's a big statement. That's just from my perspective, but anyways.
I'm assuming you're on the Chiefs? I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I don't want to hear any Eagles talk up here.
Well, we're underway for second period action as the Beacons will control it. Andy Walker will chip it in behind the net. That one reversed to the far side. Bryce Irwin will move it ahead for Zach Trepner. Big hit in the neutral zone as Andy Walker goes to the ice. Pat Keegan now will retrieve it behind his own end. Kincannon chips it back in the neutral zone, but Zach Whitaker will move it to the far side as Castleton will enter. They give it away though. Ryan Rowland there. Moves it ahead for Kincannon with speed through center. Kincannon will bring it in. Leaves it off for Walker. His shot goes well wide. Keegan though with it, or rather Grady Friedman will move it over for Keegan. Keegan a shot. That one goes off a body in front. Played off of the paddle of Brenter as it goes back to center. Andrew Stafura with it. Friedman steps into him. Bryce Irwin leaving it off. That one doesn't get through off the skate of Pat Keegan. Nick DeLuzio moves it ahead. Evan Guggens now with it. Guggens will chip it in as it's tied up on the near boards and flipped in there by Friedman. Having a little trouble there with it was Francis Young-Menard, as he'll have to go and get it behind his own net. Moves it for Cedric Theodore, who will push it back to center, but it goes right to DeLuzio. He'll move it over for Davis Browning, who sends it in. Owen Bordeaux gets there on the near side. Now Evan Guggens up top. DeLuzio tried to move it over. A chance the other way. Brandon Picard has Dylan Robeck. Shoots it, goes just wide. Guggens moves it ahead. Grady Friedman battling there. The puck will find Young-Menard. He'll move it across for Theodore. Back over for Picard. He'll enter, but DeLuzio steps in front of that. Puck goes off the linesman. Grady Friedman now with speed. Has space. Goes to the net. A shot and a nice save there by Brenter.
Like what Friedman tried to do, he knew he was in on the goaltender. He was trying to change the angle a little bit. And that's kind of as we see these players progress, right? Friedman, a freshman. Those are the little things. I mean, it didn't really generate much there, but I think those are the types of plays where if you can get, sometimes you get the goaltender to move a little bit, they'll open up a hole. I thought Friedman did a good job trying to see if that was possible. Not the case there, but I like the move.
Stelzel and Manzo on the draw. Manzo able to win it. Up to the point, Ryan Bogan tees one up, goes wide. Manzo and Stelzel going hard into the boards there. As Bogan over for Clifton, he whips on that one-timer and gets flipped up and out of play with 17:44 to go here in the middle frame.
Yeah, he just missed that, huh? It was a nice pass. I think it was in the spot where Clifton was able to, if he was timing it right, get something on it, but maybe a little bit in front of him.
So Manzo and Stelzel again. Manzo wins it. Krapinski whacked at it, but it's pushed back to center, and Jackson Edwards controls. He'll bring it in. He'll leave it off for Stelzel. Now around behind the net. Gets bumped off the play. That one chipped ahead by Corey Clifton. He'll one-handed ahead, but not out. Kept in at the line by Kyle Sargent. That one whacked at by Bogan. Clifton flips it ahead. A chance perhaps for Ty Matthews, but the puck goes too far ahead as Brenter will play it up. Matthews, though, gets it and will wheel it back into the Castleton end. Gino Carabelli racing for it. He'll win the puck from Kyle Sargent. Carabelli stays with it. Moves it up top for Pat Keegan. Keegan moves laterally, stays with it. Walks in, shoots. Pat saved there by Brenter. And the rebound goes to the far side. Ryan Rowland able to chip it into the corner. Jacob Banks battling there, being held there by Terrain, and that's going to be a penalty. So UMass will go back to the power play. As that one wheeled to the middle, and Castleton will touch it, and the whistle.
Well, hard work by Banks, keeping his feet moving. And coaches will tell you that growing up. As long as you keep your feet moving, it usually ends up something good happening in your favor. And I think Theodore had him pinned, but as soon as Banks started moving his feet along the wall, Theodore had to let him go. And when he didn't, it was a quick penalty call. So the Beacons will go on a power play. That's Banks. And I'll tell you what, he's having a great weekend. We've mentioned his name a lot. Last night, he was one of the most noticeable players. And then here tonight, he's got the goal and then just drew a penalty. I'd like to see Five maybe get some more minutes here.
Castleton won the ensuing faceoff, tied up. As up front for the Beacons are Andy Walker, Ty Matthews, and Dakota Kincannon, Ryan Rowland, and Evan Guggens at the point. Is that puck being battled for in the corner? Kincannon, as Matthews kicks it for Walker. Walker being draped. That one chipped to the blue line, but not out. Guggens keeps it in. Kincannon now with it behind the net. He'll send it around the kick blade for Googins on the far point. Rowland has it. Now back to Googins. Googins walks in, holds, shoots, save, and the puck off the boards. Kincannon rescues the puck on the far side. Googins steps into another one, goes wide. Perhaps an intentional pass off the end boards. Walker now with it. Will move it all the way across as Googins able to get there and keep it in momentarily, and maybe a 2-on-1 opportunity, but out of gas there was Anthony Percy as Sam Best will move it back ahead. Ryan Rowland now hits Googins on the far side. Googins will bring it in. In the middle for Ty Matthews, who moved to the backhand. Matthews stays with it. Back to Googins. The puck trampolines off his stick. Back to center. And now a breakaway chance for Irwin, perhaps. Also has Jake Atkinson in front. He gets it to him and just misses. Never got on net. As Pat Keegan tries to one-hand it ahead. 30 seconds approaching now on the UMass power play. Pat Keegan moves it ahead. Corey Clifton will bring it in. Leaves it off for Ty Matthews. Cross ice a chance, and fanning on it there was Mike Manzo. Matthews stays with it. Up top for Keegan. The final 20 now of the Beacons power play. Bordeaux throws it towards goal, blocked by Theodore. Beacons try to stay with it. Ty Matthews gets it in the final 10 of the power play. Manzo now up top for Keegan. He's run up, and it got blocked right in front of the net. And that'll do it for the UMass power play as we're back to 5-a-side. Keegan will flip that one off of the ceiling, so a whistle and the face-off in the neutral zone.
Overall, a decent power play, but too many opportunities going down to your goaltender there, and it didn't result in much, but I think anytime you've got a power play that's creating rushes down on your old goaltender, something's got to change. And too many times there, I think your forwards got caught a little bit low, and if that's the case, it's also some onus on the defensive side of the players on the point getting pucks through. Just the power play is not where it needs to be right now, and I think this Beacons team needs to address that. Just too many times where we've seen they're trying a little bit too hard to force a specific type of player or a specific type of look, and I think they got to go back to simplifying what's made them successful. We've yet to see them work out of the corners here. Still 5 minutes into this period, but that's really where I need to see this Beacons team spending the majority of their time in the offensive zone.
Couple of big hits there in the last sequence. Carabelli finished off his man as Bankowskis now will bring it in. Koye Bankowskis takes it around the net. Will chip it over. Davis Browning now up top with it. Shoots it. Goes off of the stick there of Andrew Stafura. Now Gino Carabelli with it. Nick DeLuzio now from the point. Throws it towards goal. Deflects just wide. Swooping in there. And back to center, sending it with Stafura. All the way back now to the Beacons end as both teams change out. Ryan Bogan with a nice stretch pass ahead for Andy Walker. Walker tries to backhand it through the skates of Kobelka as that one will now go in off the end boards. Jake Atkins will chip it to the far side. Big hit there by Dakota Kincannon. Moved ahead though with speed is Hunter Sorrow. He'll pull up, waiting for reinforcements. Hits a late minute shot. Getting a piece of it was Best, and the rebound came off the end boards. And another chance right in front for Castleton. They couldn't finish it off. That one throw towards goal, and Best sees it all the way and will glove it for a whistle with 13:15 to go.
Solid shift by Castleton there. You got to be pretty happy if you're the coaching staff. A good response coming off the penalty kill to get that puck in the offensive zone, and now an in-zone draw. And anytime you kill off a penalty, there should be a little bit of some momentum for your team coming off of that, but I think particularly in that scenario, Castleton did a really nice job of immediately responding and getting some offensive zone time.
Pat Keegan wheels it over for Ryan Rowland up the boards for Grady Friedman. Friedman takes it laterally through the neutral zone, enters, will chip it in. Heading there first though is Stelzel. Heavy hit there by McCoy. On the boards is Patrick McCoy out there. Haven't seen a lot of him this afternoon, but making his presence known on that shift. Rowland will chip it back to center. With it there's Romeo Terrain. There's that one thrown off the near boards in the neutral zone. Jackson Edwards with it. Bordeaux tried to pick his pocket. Bordeaux goes down to the ice looking for the puck. As finally UMass controls. Rowland plays it ahead out of the reach of Bordeaux. And this one will go for an icing.
Starting to feel a little bit like what we saw last night. 1-0 game. Both teams fairly evenly matched, getting some opportunities. Beacon's team a little bit tired right now off that shift. I'm seeing some forwards with their hands on the knees. It's an important face-off here. Going to need to get a change. They lose it clean.
Theodore throws it towards goal, and they score. Sam Best never saw it through a screen in front, and Castleton has tied it 1-1.
You kind of feel it coming. You know, you saw it, and just the way they were approaching that face-off in their own zone off the icing, I could tell players were tired. And to lose that draw cleanly, it's just a simple face-off play right back to the D. Theodore lets it fly. He was the one who took that penalty earlier. Good response by him. Gets that shot. Best never saw it, without a doubt. Never saw it. And so now Castleton with some life here. 1-1 hockey game. 12:18 left to play in the second period.
So just before the midway point of this game, another chance. Walking in, and Sam Best makes the save on Dylan Roebuck. Off a bad giveaway. Theodore now with another chance. That shot gets blocked, doesn't get through.
Just absolutely can't have it if you're Browning. Coming off a goal, turning that puck over right on top of your goaltender.
Another shot from the point goes wide off the stick of young Menard, so Castleton tilting the ice a bit here. He's ill control in the neutral zone. Brendan Picard moves it across ice for Theodore. Theodore chips it in. Cedric Theodore, the freshman out of Montreal, Quebec. And that is his first career collegiate goal. It's now the other way. It's Zach Trepner now. Will chip it in. Loose pass Krapinski. Ryan Bogan looks to get there first. He'll stick it over for Krapinski. Krapinski sends it back in the corner. Castleton controls a centering pass. And now back the other way. Jacob Banks with speed. Nice move, cutting to the middle. Banks gets there first. Loses the puck momentarily. Tied up, losing his stick there was Papa Petros. Now Carabelli. There's that one chip for Bankowskis. Wheels it towards goal. Sticked away by Brenter. Banks stays with it. Moves it up top. Krapinski walks in. Throws it towards goal. Pad save by Brenter. Castleton able to chip it back to center. Krapinski though with it. Will dump it in as Banks was changing up right in front of the bench. That one play to the near side, out of the reach of Stafura, and they rule no icing. Sam Best leaving it off. Pat Keegan now will chip it back to center. Goes right to Stone Stelsel, but Andy Walker steals. Walker tried to move it to the front of the net as he loses it. That one whacked by Papa Petros. Kept in though by Pat Keegan. Moves it over for Ryan Rowland. Rowland in the middle for Kincannon, tries to shoot, gets another chance, and it goes just wide on the near post.
Good shift here by the Beacons.
Pat Keegan wheels it towards goal, looking perhaps for Atkins, who is tied up. Kincannon now for Andy Walker up top. Walker shoots, gets deflected. Kincannon gets it off the end boards. Tied up there with Kobelka. Pat Keegan, a nice job to keep it in. As Ryan Rowland was headed back as he thought the puck was knocked out, and now it changed the other way. Kobelka. A heavy hit there by Keegan in front. Another chance, and a nice job by Sam Best with the poke check there, knocking it away. Pat Keegan now will send it to the far side for Grady Friedman. Friedman back behind his own net for Pat Keegan. Keegan shielding the puck there, will move it ahead. Gets back to center, but sent right back in by Romeo Terrain. Sam Best out to play to leave it off for Rowland. Rowland now to Grady Friedman. Friedman stick handling with it. Will take it out of his own end. Through center now. He'll enter the offensive zone. Nice move by Friedman. Puts it just wide over the net. Now back the other way. As Jason Atkinson moving it ahead for Jackson Edwards. Edwards being bothered there by Davis Browning. That one wheeled to the middle. As Terrain able to keep it in momentarily, but his pass was pushed back to center. Jason Atkinson with it. Will shoot that one and deflect up and out of play with 8:49 to go in the second period.
Some good action here. Take a look at the goal here, and you can tell Best never sees that. I mean, just a quick release, and as a defenseman, that's one thing I look for, especially with offensive defensemen, is do they recognize how to get pucks through? You know, there's a lot of traffic there. I mean, you've got probably 6-7 bodies that are in that lane, but just to be able to quick release, you don't always need the slap shot. Just the quick release, putting it in a spot where you're thinking it might have a good opportunity at least to generate a rebound. And in that case, gets right past the goaltender for a goal. I just really like the recognition by Theodore. He's from Montreal, so it might be Theodore.
Nice grab there by a fan.
DeLucio crew down below us, I believe. I don't know. I got some fat heads down there. I can't quite see who it is, but in the general vicinity.
Face-off will come back to center. Here on Senior Day, we have a pretty solid crowd on tap. Castleton will control. Terrain on the stretch pass. Was looking for Stafora, but it was well out of his reach, and that'll be an icing, so the face-off back in the Castleton end. So it'll be the second line out there for the Beacons. Top line out for Castleton. Andy Walker able to win the face-off. Clifton for Krapinski. He'll send it in. Romeo Terrain will try to move it ahead. Nice job by Ty Matthews on the back check. Wins it. Matthews to the outside. Getting heckled on his way to the net. And that one will come to the near side. Ryan Bogan able to keep it in. Throws it towards goal just wide. Ty Matthews had it, but he fell down right beside the far post. As he could have had a chance to maybe tuck that one home. That one flipped in. Sam Best doesn't play it. Krapinski gets there. He'll reverse it for Ryan Bogan. Bogan has his pocket picked, though. Centering pass. And that one whacked away by Krapinski. As Esterhazy was going towards the goal. Gino Carabelli chips it to the far side. Jacob Banks leaves it off for Krapinski. He'll tee it in cross corner. Bankowskis now chips it down low. Carabelli around the kick blade. Ryan Rowland stops it with his skate. Jacob Banks now swoops in to find the loose puck. Banks gets canceled out, though, as Theodore will move it to the near side. That one chipped back to center. Pat Keegan gloves it down, though, but he can't get enough wood on it. As Dylan Roebuck will enter, but Keegan, nice recovery there, will defend it and move it back to center. Bankowskis in a race for it. Wheeled ahead, though. As Keegan now will enter, throws it towards the goal, and a nice save there by Brenter.
He's really been around the puck today, 16, Keegan. We mentioned his name a lot yesterday, but I think even more so here today.
That one flipped high off the glass in the neutral zone as Ryan Rowland avoids his forechecker as Andy Walker will settle it down now for Pat Keegan. Back to Rowland. He'll move it ahead. Chipped in there by Atkin. Theodore turns it over. Atkins moves it over for Andy Walker, but it goes away from him back to the neutral zone as Davis Browning will send it in. Beacons looking to get right back on the attack. Atkins for Kincannon. Dakota Kincannon stick handling with it. Throws it on goal, and a save by Brenter, and he knocked the net off up against that near side post, so a whistle and the face-off to stay in the Castleton end.
Yeah, this is important because Castleton won't get to change now with the goaltender knocking it off on his own accord, so Beacons with a little bit of an opportunity here. 6 minutes in the second period, and in a game that's 1-1, been mostly even, these are the little types of advantages that you really need to take care of here. Now, the problem is that it looks like there seems to be a problem with the net, so you're letting Castleton, every few seconds that dissipate here is more a chance to recovery for the Spartans, so it's kind of a moot point at this point.
Getting a breather.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't even matter. I mean, you might as well forget about everything I just said. Tough break for the Beacons. Because you haven't played a few players who looked like they were fairly exhausted, and the Beacons had good pressure before that.
So the ice crew coming on with the drill, needing a little assistance as the officials now look to put the peg back into place. And now we're all set as Owen Bordeaux on the draw with Jackson Kobelka. Kobelka able to win it. And Zach Whitaker will move it around. DeLuzio pinching in. Guggen's covering at the point. Guggen's able to knock it back in. Bordeaux now takes a hit. Castleton wins the puck. Moving it ahead is Kobelka. He'll leave it off for Anthony Percy. That one blocked away back to the neutral zone. Grady Friedman swooping in, wins the puck. Friedman drops it off for DeLuzio. DeLuzio down low for Guggens. Back up top for Browning. Browning for Friedman. Friedman back down low for Davis Browning. Browning, puck momentarily bounces off his stick, but he gets it back. Grady Friedman now dancing up top. Friedman throws it on goal, looking for Bordeaux at the rebound, but he was tied up and the puck gets moved back to the Beacons' end.
Like that shot choice by Friedman. That rebound was there, just nobody home to bang it in.
Friedman stick handling through center. We'll move it over for Browning, and he'll throw it in on Simon Brenter, and he'll glove it for a whistle with 5:14 to go here in the second period.
It's becoming a little bit of a chess match, I think, in this hockey game for both these coaching staffs. It's just what advantages can we get, can we garner? Still 1-1, and I don't think I've really seen, maybe for a little bit on both sides, but either team really, and we're going to get a chance here. Oh no, good play by Bogan.
You said it, Mizey, good recovery by Ryan Bogan as the puck was loose in his skates, and he was able to find it just before Castleton could muster perhaps an odd man rush the other way, as Corey Clifton tries to move that ahead. Gets sticked away though by Stelzel. Tied up at the Beacons blue line, up against the boards. Ryan Bogan and Jason Atkinson whacking away. Corey Clifton in there as well, as finally the whistle will go as face-off will stay in the neutral zone. Don't see that very often anymore where the puck's tied up against the boards.
Yeah, it was a little quick too, because right after he blew it, it came out. Yeah, usually they make you work your way through that.
Kankowskis able to win that draw. Pat Keegan will flip it in. Puck takes a weird bounce there off perhaps a divot in the ice, and it sits. And Beacons will control. Pat Keegan from the neutral zone will send it in around the kick blade. Brenter came out to play it, but it was too quick for him, so he'll retreat back to his goal. Jacob Banks now with it in the far corner. Kankowskis gets stapled against the boards. Gino Carabelli, though, finds it. Carabelli on the near side boards. To Pat Keegan up top. Keegan throws it towards goal, deflects wide. Kankowskis tries a wraparound, and perhaps on the far post, getting a piece of it was Brenter. That one thrown the corner boards. Keegan steps into one, and a save by Brenter. Tries to tie it up, but Zach Papapetros was there. Tries to move it ahead. Carabelli moves it back down low. Jacob Banks to the middle. A shot goes just wide. Banks gets it back, throws it towards goal again. Hits a body in front. Carabelli, a heavy hit into the boards, as Papapetros put him right into the boards. Slow to get up. Back the other way a chance, as Stefura tried to backhand that in. And another chance as Sam Best will cover it. And Gino Carabelli will head to the bench. You hope he's okay. That was a heavy hit there, Mizey, right against the board.
Yeah, it really was. And Pat Keegan's talking to the referees about it. I think he's looking for an elbowing call. I mean, that was a heavy hit. He's in a lot of discomfort right now. Head trainer Ed Perkins is taking a look. I mean, he's still on the bench. I think he's going to be all right to come back, but he's definitely going to need a minute.
The Beacons really can't afford any more injuries. They already have guys playing hurt as it is, and they lost Alex Duncan last night to an injury. As Castleton controls. Puck tied up, throw it towards goal, they score! It was a loose puck, and finding it was Dylan Roebuck, and the freshman will put it home, and Castleton has a 2-1 lead.
Again, off the draw. That's twice now tonight. The Beacons have not had good coverage off a lost draw. And you'll have to see on this replay here, it's a little bit of a broken face-off play, but you're exactly right. Roebuck just kind of gets it, and second time tonight, Best never saw it. And it's so evident when a goaltender never sees it, the way that you just drop down, their hands are up, they're trying to just get a piece of it, and at no point did Best see that release. We'll show you the replay here in a second, but you're going to see off the draw, it's just a broken play, a little bit of a scramble, and all of a sudden the Beacons find themselves down 2-1.
Castleton benefiting from the puck luck on that sequence, as Dylan Roebuck, the freshman out of Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania, will grab his second of the season. As Owen Bordeaux tries to move it ahead. He takes a hard hit. Grady Friedman. Beacons need a quick response here as we're under 3 minutes now to go in the second period. Friedman had a chance at the near post, but the puck explodes off his stick, and Castleton brings it back to center. Picard moves past Bogan. Picard able to stay with it. Put his stick behind his back, rather. But Evan Guggen's now back the other way. Guggen's with speed. Into the corner. Gets bumped by Stezel. As Guggen's now is battling against the boards with Terrain, as Castleton will move it ahead. Jackson Edwards will bring it in, working on the outside. Throws it towards goal, goes off Ryan Bogan's stick in the air. Krapinski through the middle for Grady Friedman. Now Manzo couldn't find it between his legs, but he's able to get it, and he'll send it in. Krapinski there playing the body, didn't see the puck, and goes back to center, but the Beacons will send it right back in. That one's sticked away by Brenter. Ty Matthews though with it in front, and Clifton couldn't find it until the last second, and Brenter was already there.
I think it rolled off his stick on top of it.
And a big hit in front of the Beacons bench, Ryan Rowland. And a penalty coming up here against Castleton.
Oh, yeah.
Keegan throws it towards goal, save. Clifton a chance on the rebound. Another save by Brenter, and a whistle.
Well, I'll tell you what. The referees are going to have to talk about this because Edwards made contact with the bench with a player who wasn't on the ice. Let's take a look at the replay goal here as the referees sort this out. You're going to see that's right off the draw, and the shot through gets blocked. Now watch as Roebuck right there. As Roebuck finds it, he's going to turn, release it right there, and Best never sees it. Completely screened. Just a broken play here. You can tell Best already scrambling for it, looking for it right here. Roebuck just throws it towards the net, up glove high. And that's going to be a minor. What's interesting here, folks, is that play was actually with Edwards making contact with somebody on the bench. I wasn't sure which Beacon it was. It wasn't something on the ice.
Isn't that a 10-minute misconduct?
I thought so too, yeah. I think that's a 10, but either way, I'll take it. Beacons are going to have a power play to finish this period. We're going to get we should have this on replay. Yeah, we are. Great job by our crew. We'll show it to you here the next chance we get. Just an overly aggressive play by Edwards, and all of a sudden now the Beacons have a power play and a chance to tie this up.
So it's just a roughing penalty. I was under the assumption that the rule is if you make contact with a player that's on the bench, it's an automatic 10-minute misconduct, and vice versa if somebody on the bench touches someone on the ice, but they don't call it here as the Beacons will control it. Andy Walker now with it. Up top for Ryan Rowland. Over to Guggens. Guggens' shot goes just wide. Final minute approaching of this period. The Beacons desperately need a power play goal here. Down low, Matthews. As that pass for Walker gets disrupted, the Beacons look to stay with it. Getting there, though, is Bryce Irwin, and he'll send it down the length of the rink as we're now inside 50 seconds, a minute approaching to go on the UMass power play. Ryan Rowland will start things up. It's Mike Manzo on the far side. Manzo gets bothered entering the zone. Puck tied up in front of the Beacons bench. Andy Walker took a whack at it. Now a chance the other way, a 2-on-1. Atkinson shoots, saved by Best. The rebound goes behind the net. Atkinson stays with it.
That's a big save.
Final 20 now. As that puck tied up. Good penalty kill here by the Spartans. As they hear the stick taps from the bench. Grady Friedman now, perhaps one last chance in the final 5 seconds. Heavy collision up against the boards, and that will do it for the second period. And the Beacons, who had a lead going into the second period, will now trail going into the third.
You can see right here the contact on the bench from Edwards. We'll show it to you one more time, but just watch the contact here, and then as he gets an extra swipe right there, now watch the bench. He takes a shot. I mean, I don't know. It's a 10 to me. You
For no
can't
reason
do that.
It looked like either. It didn't look like the Beacons bench really did anything.
Yeah,
there.
you definitely can't do that. But I think one thing, important note here, that save by Best on 2-on. This Beacons power play has given up far too many opportunities. That's the third odd man rush on a power play we've seen for this Beacons team. That's far too many. And that's a key save. If Castleton scores there and goes up 3-1, we're talking a whole different ballgame right now. 2-1, still 21 seconds on the power play. You're okay. You're still within this game. If Best doesn't come up with that save there, those are the little things in a hockey game that make all the difference. We're talking a whole different story. So 2-1 Castleton after one, but I think we're in for a heck of a third period. It seems like things are getting a little chippy.
So that'll end our second period action. The Beacons, who I just mentioned, had a lead after one, now trailed 2-1 after two. They will have 21 seconds of power play time to start the third period. And that's where we stand now. So once again, Castleton leading UMass 2-1 after two. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisersbacher here with you. We'll be back to go over the scoring summary and game stats here on the Beacons Podcast Network.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, being a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. It's one of those moments you never forget.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink as Castleton leading UMass by a score of 2-1 after 2. And to take a look at our scoring summary, there's Jacob Banks, who opened the scoring at 2:11 of the first from Bankauskas and Deluzio. Then Cedric Theodore in the second at 7:42 tied the game, and Balint Mestahazy on the assist. And then it was Dylan Roebuck on a odd scramble right around the hash marks who picked the corner from Kyle Sargent and giving the Spartans a 2-1 lead, and that's where we stand. And now we'll take a look at our game stats up to this point. So we'll get our graphic up. Shots here in the second period, 28-19, UMass leading in that department. So he mentioned the quality coming more from Castleton, and the saves, Sam Best 17, 27 for Simon Brenter. Face-offs, Beacons catching up there, only one behind, 21-22, so pretty even there. Neither team has cashed in on the power play. Beacons 0 for 3. They'll have 21 seconds of power play time to start the third. Castleton 0 for 1. But you said it, Mizey, Castleton kind of took control of that game in that second period.
Yeah, especially capitalizing, right? Both their goals, Best never had a chance. They never saw it released. And I think that's something that this Castleton team has done better, and that's the difference, is they've capitalized on their opportunities. You see the shots on goal, 28. And I was talking to the coaching staff before. I thought if this team, the Beacons, could get to 30 or more shots on goal, they'd be in a position to win this hockey game. They still are. It's only 2-1. Still, like you said, 21 seconds on that power play, but already with 28 shots on goal, and I don't think any of them have been of very high quality, which is okay. Volume can sometimes win you hockey games, but I think that's something that they've got to try to be a little bit better with this third period, is with the shots that they're taking, they've got to find ways. Again, we've said it all year, rebounds and screening goaltenders is where they're going to find a lot of their success offensively. I just don't see this team having enough snipers on or playmakers on their forward lines to be able to create. And we saw them get away from that a little bit in the second. I thought they got back to it a little bit in the second half of the period. They find themselves down here at home. I think for me, this 21 seconds coming out is what's going to be the response. Things are getting a little chippy. We saw a penalty, and we've seen some players taking some extra shots. Are they able to tie this thing up early in the third and have some momentum for the first half of this third period?
Well, that'll do it for our second intermission coverage as we approach the final period here at Edward T. Berry Ice Rink for this season, as the Beacons trail 2-1 on Senior Day. Hope hopefully we get some magic here in the third as the Beacons will close out their season. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here. We'll be back shortly for third period action here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity, there's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have an advisor helping you out, telling you which classes to choose.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just the starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go.
What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
And welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Just ahead of third period action, UMass trailing Castleton as we are about to get ready as 2-1 the score. Beacons will have a power play. Mizey, 21 seconds only though. What do you do? What's the strategy here? You have a fresh sheet of ice, obviously the face-off at center ice. What's the plan here with this pre-power play?
For me, it's just about getting your in-zone entry a little bit easier, right, with having Castleton being man down. There's really not a lot, especially with the face-off at center ice. There's just not a ton of time. You can try to run something creative. I mean, that's the thing is the Beacons have a couple creative face-off plays if they want to roll the dice a little bit. But I think for me, the conservative play would be to just try and get possession of that puck, get in the zone, and maybe generate a chance or two before that clock expires. You don't have a ton of chances, or a ton of time rather, to generate your full power play. I think for me, though, it can be used as a catalyst for the remainder of this third, right? If you can come out and generate some momentum, especially in this first 5 off of this power play, I think that's really got to be the goal here. Don't forget you're down now, so you've got to find a way to tie this thing up before you can start talking about maybe changing up the lines and generating some offense that way. So little things like that, but the way this game has gone, and I think with the aggression that we saw at the end of that second period, I'm going to be looking to see if we're going to see some more penalties here in the third period.
Both teams lining up. Andy Walker and Stone Stezel. As Stezel will win it, but the Beacons will get it into the Castleton end. 15 seconds on the power play. Goes to the far side, finds Jason Atkinson. He'll get it back to center. Ryan Rowland had some trouble with it. Perhaps maybe one more rush here for the Beacons as they enter. Going hard to the ice there was Papa Petros, and that will do it for the UMass power play. So we're back to 5-a-side. Castleton looking to move it the other way. Atkinson will bring it in. Has Irwin going towards the net. Throws it just wide. And that one will go all the way around back to center. Cedric Theodore, who has a goal here this afternoon. It was his first career collegiate goal. Will leave it off for Bryce Irwin. Moving it back over for Theodore. Theodore will bring it in. Hits Irwin. Irwin throws it towards goal. Best got a piece of it. It's still loose on the near side post. And that one's sticked by Irwin. Kept in nicely by Theodore though. Irwin now backhands it in, but it goes right to Ryan Rowland. Now Ty Matthews with it through center. Matthews will bring it in. Tries to get around Torrain, but he got wrapped up there and it's pushed back to center. DeLuzio tries to backhand it in, hits a body. DeLuzio, the second chance, will get it in all the way around behind the net as Brenter out to play it. Theodore moves it to the far side. Fresh off the bench, Ryan Bogan, the senior, winds it in. Corey Clifton will stop it on the boards. Owen Bordeaux with it down low. Bordeaux circles back. Backhands it for Krapinski. Krapinski slaps it, and it goes wide off a deflection. Hits the end boards and out to the far side. Bordeaux, though, nice job to keep it in. Maybe one too many moves there, though, as Castleton intercepts. Nice job, though, by Clifton, who steals and whips it on goal. Is leaving it off there is Simon Brenter. Owen Bordeaux now with it. Will cycle it behind the net looking for Carabelli. Carabelli able to find it. He'll stop up against the boards as Mesterhazy will staple him. Bogan over to Krapinski. Couldn't handle that pass and he's forced back to center. Nice job by Krapinski to avoid Brandon Picard. Krapinski brings it in as Carabelli. That shot gets deflected. Ryan Bogan now moves it down low for Koye Benkauskas. Carabelli now behind the net. Carabelli stays with it. On the backhand, tries to center it for Benkauskas. Hits a stick. Bogan now looking for Banks. Goes off a skate. Carabelli now up top. Will backhand it in. That goes off the kick blade. Benkauskas rescues the puck. Throws it on goal and a save, and there was a brief rebound, but Brenter able to find it and frees it. 17-17 to go, final period.
Two good shifts there by the Beacons off that power play like we talked about, getting some offense rolling there, and I like that shot by Benkauskas. Coming out of the corner there, it didn't look like Brenter had a great read on it. You could see the rebound was there. Let's see if the Beacons can follow this up. They're going to go with that third line of Walker, Adkins, and Kincannon.
Shipped all the way around for Jason Atkinson through center. Pat Keegan tried to take a whack at it, whiffs on it, but Andy Walker rescued it. Ryan Rowland now with it. Moves it over for Keegan. Nice slap pass to Jake Atkins, who will chip it in. Dakota Kincannon now tied up on the end boards. As Castleton looks to headman it up. Big collision there as Atkins runs into his man. Jason Atkinson stays with it though. Jackson Edwards tries a rebound chance off the end boards. Pat Keegan able to find the puck. Atkins will chip it back to center, but it goes right to Jason Atkinson. Zach Whitaker now goes D to D for Theodore. As fresh off the bench is Hunter Sorrow. Leaving it off a chance. Great save by Sam Best with the pad.
Another good one.
That one comes up top. Theodore throwing it just wide off the end boards now on the apron of the goal. As Anthony Percy tried to find it. Has it again now in the far corner. Mike Manzo draped all over him, but Percy able to avoid him. Young Menard moving it over for Theodore. Now down low. Kobelka with it. Theodore again up top. Moving it over for Young Menard. That shot gets deflected high in the air. As Kobelka gets pushed up against the boards by Ryan Rowland. Two of them battling with it in the corner. Manzo now comes in. Pat Keegan will chip it. The far side intended for Ty Matthews, but Francis Young Menard, the defenseman, chipping in, banks it off with a paddle of Sam Best. Puck still loose, and finally Keegan able to find it and work it into the neutral zone, but not to center, as right back comes Castleton. A chance on the back door as Hunter Sorrow was there on the pass from Anthony Percy. Now Owen Bordeaux the other way, throws it on goal. That one blocked it up and out of play, though, by Simon Brenter. But the Beacons do have an offensive zone faceoff.
Castleton with a good response. Beacons started this period with a couple shifts in the offensive zone, and then Castleton with some offensive possession. You can see there, didn't come close to a grade A opportunity, but I thought a few of those opportunities had a chance of becoming a grade A. Just weren't able to connect.
Corey Clifton not able to win that faceoff as that one chipped ahead by Bryce Irwin. Davis Browning doing a nice job shielding Stafura from getting the puck. DeLuzio now with it. Plays it too far from Davis Browning, but it goes right into his skates. That one chipped down low by Kyle Sargent. Now a chance up top, but giveaway back the other way. Clifton will have to wait as Guggens and Bordeaux. Clifton will send it around the boards. Stafura gets there first. Bordeaux picks his pocket, but Castleton able to retain it. Irwin chips it in. Ryan Bogan to give chase. He'll reverse it for Krapinski. Krapinski now ahead for Corey Clifton. Clifton from the red line will chip it in. No icing. Jacob Banks throws it through the front of the net. Krapinski rescues it off the boards. He'll take it around behind the net. Krapinski will reverse it down low. Jacob Banks now. Carabelli almost had Bankowskis in front, but a good job by Picard to cancel him out. Bogan now from up top shoots. That one hits a skate. Goes to Bankowskis in the near corner. Under 14 minutes to go. Bankowskis throws it towards goal. It was blocked. Krapinski now throws it in front. Banks tied up. Wheels it in front. Still losing. A great save on the doorstep, and another one there by Brenter.
This line's been great for the Beacons. Second time now they've spent the majority of the shift in the offensive zone.
Beacons have had a strong start to the first half of this third period. Just not able to solve Simon Brenter as that puck tied up on the far side. Carabelli whacking at it. That one chipped back out to center off the glove of Ryan Bogan. A 2-on-1 chance here. Dylan Roebuck, who already has one, throws it just wide. He had Picard on the other side, but opted for the shot. Both teams will change up. Andy Walker through center. Andy Walker with speed, beats his man. Walker stays with it. Has it behind the net. Backhands it for Kincannon. Now Pat Keegan with it on the far point. That move for Kincannon on the far boards goes under his stick. Beacons try to stay with it. As Young Menard tried to move it out. Rowland now with a chant from the point, but that one deflected off the stick of Jackson Edwards into the ceiling with 12:39 to go with a whistle.
Some good possession by the Beacons here. A couple shifts in the offensive zone and more the same, but the problem they're having is that I haven't seen a lot from the top two lines, and if I'm the coaching staff, I might think of going back to that all-freshman line here. You're taking a look, you still see, and sure enough, they've done it. So just as I was asking for it, now they go back to Matthews, Manzo, and Friedman. I thought this was their best line yesterday. I think given the situation right now, it's the right call.
Brady Friedman for Ryan Rowland. That goes off Pat Keegan's stick, and he'll have to hustle back to retrieve that puck. Able to get there, wheels it for Mike Manzo. Ryan Rowland now with it. Brady Friedman able to chip it in. Ty Matthews now in a race for it. And they're going to call him for a penalty here as he knocked the stick out of Stezel's hands, and I don't know, Mizey, that just looked like a guy not holding his stick very firmly, and he just happened to drop it, but the officials disagree.
Yeah, it's one of those, you make contact with the stick, and if the player loses possession of his stick, it's easy for the referee to call a slash. I agree with you. I think there needs to be a discussion by the referees in terms of, hey, what constitutes an actual slash here? Because this is a tough call. I understand why he's calling a slash, but the Beacons have so much momentum, and now they're on the penalty kill. Castleton with a golden opportunity to go up by 2.
Deluzio able to chip it out, heads up. That goes out of play into the crowd, startling some fans here. So the face-off will come back into the UMass zone.
But I agree with you in the sense that, you make contact with the stick, and if they lose possession, I think the referees are quick to call that a slash. I think it really depends on where the contact was made, the force of the contact from stick to stick. Just a tough call right now with the way the game was going. The boys in white jerseys.
Bankowskis able to rescue it, has Carabelli, a 2-on-1 maybe. Bankowskis for Carabelli, hits a body, goes in, and Brenter able to find it and freeze it. So a short-handed bid there for the Beacons.
It's the right play by Bankowskis. He's on his backhand there. It's virtually impossible to try and get, unless you just release it quickly, to get a forehand shot. So to float a puck into where you would hope there would be some sort of rebound or even sometimes some type of collision with the goaltender. It almost happened. Brenter made a nice stop there. I like the decision by Bankowskis on that 2-on-1.
Ryan Rowland will wheel it to the near corner. 1:30 to go on the Castleton power play. Under 12 to go in the period. Ryan Rowland gets it and will send it in. Terrain. Now move to the middle as Stelzel, who drew the penalty, has that one back to center. Jacob Banks now pressuring Theodore. He'll move it over for Terrain. Bit of a stretch pass there for Atkinson, but a nice job there by Pat Keegan, who will send it the length of the rink. Under a minute now to go on the Spartans power play. Approaching 11 minutes in the period. Terrain runs into Gino Carabelli, and Bankowskis will send it back down the river. Castleton getting a full change here. Theodore leaving it off for Whitaker. Zach Whitaker will send it in. 30 seconds now to go on the Castleton power play. Davis Browning moves it for Deluzio. Trying to get there was Carabelli. He runs into his man there, Papa Petros. Now cross-ice pass, disrupted and up though by Davis Browning. As Andrew Stafura, the Castleton leading scorer, was wide open. That shot gets blocked by Carabelli. Carabelli tries to whack it out, but it went off Bankowskis. Cross-ice pass, and they score. Andrew Stafura cashes in with just 3 seconds to go on the power play, and Castleton extends the lead to 2.
Well, how many times have we seen on a failed clear, it ends up in the back of your net? The Beacons had a chance. They made a couple of nice plays there, blocked a shot in the slot, and then had a chance. I know both players were down. We'll show you on the replay, but they had a chance to clear. And when you fail to clear, it's so many times it ends up in a golden scoring opportunity for the opposition. Castleton just makes a simple play across the ice, a quick shot, and all of a sudden, now you're in a bind. Now you're down by 2. When you look up at the clock, you've got 10 minutes and change left. So you really got to put pedal to the metal here to climb back into this one.
Castleton controls the ensuing faceoff. That backhanded high off the glass. Krapinski back to get it. Tries to reverse it. Getting there first was Hunter Sara. Evan Guggens turns it over. That shot thrown towards goal, sticked away by Best. Bordeaux. Now Guggens with it. One hands it ahead. Back to get it though is Papa Petros. He'll bank it off the glass. Ryan Bogan in the middle will whack it to Krapinski. Now Bordeaux with it. He'll bring it in. Leaves it off for Clifton. Has Guggens going to the net. That shot gets blocked away. Clifton able to stay with it. Down low for Guggens. Guggens shoots, goes wide. And they're going to say it went out of play, but the faceoff will stay in the Castleton zone.
You need someone to respond here. It's senior night at home. You're down 3-1 against a team that's below you in the standings and in the rankings. I know there's not much in terms of where the conference or if the conference is going to move. I think both teams, as we've said, are pretty locked into their position. But I think just from a pride perspective, I think you've got to have a response here. Just to lose 3-1 at home, I think at least if you can make it 3-2 and give it your best effort here with the final 10, feel better about the way this game has gone. But so far this weekend, Beacon's only able to come up with 2 goals in 2 games. It's just not enough.
Now under 10 minutes to go in this third period. A 3-on-2 maybe the other way, as Atkins throws it in the middle looking for Kincannon. Couldn't get it to him. That one wheeled in by Ryan Rowland. Beacons have to tag up. Atkins rescues it, throws it for Kincannon. Couldn't find it. Kincannon, though, able to get it in the far corner. Wheels it towards the middle. Back the other way, though, comes Castleton. Dylan Roebuck will chip it in. Castleton changes behind the play. Mike Manzo gets there first. From the red line, tries to dump it in on the second chance, able to. Puck goes behind the net. Ty Matthews gets stapled to the wall there by Terrain. Deluzio now wheels it in. It's going hard to the boards as Ty Matthews. Deluzio from up top, as that one doesn't get through. Back the other way with speed is Stezel. Stezel cuts to the net. Gets pushed away by Deluzio. Stezel stays with it, though. Terrain now with it. His shot deflects wide into the netting. With 8:01 to go, third period. The clock not the Beacons' ally here, Mizey.
No, and you're in a predicament, because with that goal, Castleton really doesn't have to do much offensively. And they can really sit back and make you work through the neutral zone and their offensive zone with, really, if you want to. I mean, at this stage, I'd go with like 5 guys. I'd put 1 at the blue line, 1-2-2, right? 1 at the blue, 2 at the red, and then your defense behind there, and make these Beacons, who really haven't shown they've been able. Here's a transition shot.
Pankowskis tries to split the D, but he can't.
They really haven't shown much offensively. It's come in spurts, but they haven't been able to capitalize. So if I'm Castleton, I'd take that all day and force this Beacons team to have to go through 5 guys.
Jacob Banks now with speed the other way. He'll bring it in. Working against Papapetros. Banks behind the net. Able to backhand it up top for Bogan. Krapinski now throws it towards goal, but not enough bodies in front, allowing Render to see it all the way, and he'll glove it for a whistle.
And you've got to rely on your top lines. I think you've seen a lot from your third and fourth line here tonight, but we really haven't seen much from the Guggens line or the Manzo line. I mean, they've generated some opportunities, but I don't think it's enough where you feel confident in putting either line out there right now.
Owen Bordeaux on the face-off against Zach Trempner. Trempner able to win it. Moved all the way around the far side by young Menard. That one now wheeled in by Trempner. Best out to play it. Beacons out shooting Castleton 36-22, yet find themselves down by 2 goals here in the third period. Cross ice pass attempted. Guggens gets in the way of that, but Trempner able to stay with it and send it in. That centering pass goes on the stick of Guggens. Pat Keegan now rescues it. Keegan will flip it on his backhand for Guggens. Guggens back to Keegan. Owen Bordeaux now on the near side. Bordeaux takes it in the neutral zone. Ooh, he avoided a nearly huge hit there from Cedric Theodore. Guggens now will chip it down low. Corey Clifton gets canceled out there. Theodore beats him to it. Nice. Back the other way comes Castleton. Nice job, though, by Atkins at the blue line. And that will be an offside, so the face-off to the neutral zone with 6:27 to go.
And again, this clock just continues to wind down. It feels like every time we get a whistle, another 3 or 4 minutes have gone. You're just running out of runway here through the Beacons. I think if you're Castleton, you really got to like the way you played. And slowly but surely have worked your way up. You were down 1-0, 3 unanswered goals. And now, just over 5 minutes left to play, you can go home with a victory.
Nick Deluzio sends that one in. Atkins throws it on goal. It hits the side of the net. Davis Browning now pinching it in. Goes under the stick of Andy Walker. Deluzio now in front. Atkins battling for it there. Gets whacked to the end boards. Andy Walker now will bank it off the far boards as Picard chips it ahead for Terrain. The defenseman a chance. Saved by Sam Best. Mark that one down.
Giving his team a chance.
Kincannon now through center. Working 1 against 3. His shot gets deflected up and out of play, but an offensive zone faceoff here for the Beacons. Mizey, at what point do you think about pulling your goalie here? I know it's still a little bit early, but
yeah, if you win this draw clean, I would think about it. I mean, I'd be signaling, just letting him know, hey, we're going to be taking you soon. I mean, you're down by 2, and I'm always in the school of thought of giving your offense more time than they might need. Nice face-off play there. Just missed the net. Matthews with a good chance.
Ryan Bogan now pinching in. But winning the puck is Atkinson. That's chipped back all the way down to the Beacons' end on a deflection, so no icing. Krapinski backhands it around. Grady Friedman now. Leaves it off for Krapinski. Krapinski, chance in the middle. A 2-on-1 maybe. Matthews has Manzo going to the net looking for him. But a nice job, though, by Stezel, moving him away from the puck. Ty Matthews will rescue it as we approach 5 minutes to go. Moved ahead for Mike Manzo. Manzo will bring it in, leaves it off for Friedman. Friedman back for Manzo. Chips it in the middle, whacked away, though. There's Trepner now, sends it back to center. Ryan Rowland moves it over for Pat Keegan. Keegan gives it away and then gets knocked off the puck by Trempner. A nice move by Stafura. Tees one up, blocker saved by Best. Theodore another chance. That one goes just wide on the glove side. Puck chipped in the far corner. Keegan there, looking to move it ahead. Keegan gets past Stafura. He'll send it in. Bretner will paddle it over for young Menard. Now Irwin throws it through the middle, out of the reach of Stafura. Davis Browning to rescue it. Browning moves it for Jacob Banks. The lone goal scorer for the Beacons here this afternoon. Banks cuts to the middle, has a chance, shoots, and a save. Bretner rebound. Banks stays with it, tries to wheel it in front. Another chance. Deluzio steps into one, but getting a piece of it with his stick was Hunter Sorrow. With 3:51 to go, Beacons producing chances, they just can't seem to finish.
Yeah, I think you got to take your time out and you got to have a conversation about your goaltender. You might not get another whistle. So if you're going to do it, I think now would be the time. I would be shocked if they don't use the timeout. There it is. But now the real decision, I think the timeout's the easy one, is what do you do with the goaltender? 4 minutes is a lot of time, but you need 2 goals. And you've got to feel confident in your centers. I see the coaching staff there, guarantee you they're talking about it right now. I'll be curious what they want to do with Best. They're probably at best, not to use a pun, but keep them halfway. And I don't see the motion into him, so I think they're going to keep him in and then maybe leave him halfway through. So take a look at Stephen Bucco and Pete Belisle there, his 17th season. Tough spot to be in. You need 2. Don't like your odds. But if you can win this draw, see the beauty of this, right, with enough time is if you take the goaltender and you do score, you can put him back. It gives you a chance at life. But you've got to get 1, and all of a sudden with 4 minutes or under 4 minutes, really, you're just limited in your options of what you can do from a coaching staff. It really is on the players at this point.
See, if I'm Coach Belisle, I pull the goalie now just because, like you said, you might not have another opportunity. You have an offensive zone face-off. You're just under 4 minutes. You're down 2. So why not? You got nothing to lose. It's the last game of the season. And it looks like they will. Sam Best staying at the bench.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you with what you just said. It's the right call. I think the difference between 3-1, 4-1, who cares? You got to roll the dice here.
So Bankowskis with Banks, Carabelli, Matthews, Rowland, and Keegan. Beacons with the extra attacker out there. Rowland able to keep it in. Banks down low, has Bankowskis in front. Or rather, that was Matthews, but he loses it. Back the other way. A chance for Castleton to ice it, but a good back check by Jacob Banks to disrupt that chance. Ryan Rowland tries to move it ahead. Under 3:30 now to go. Rowland wheels it in. Past Brenter, who came out to play it. Puck tied up in the corner. Banks had it and lost it. Ty Matthews now wheels it up top. Pat Keegan couldn't stay with it as it was in his skates, and it goes back to center.
Needed that to stay in.
Keegan now chips it in off the end boards, tries to get his own pass. He'll staple Terrain into the boards. That's a heavy hit, and he'll take him to the ice. Jacob Banks now with it. 3 minutes to go.
In there. I mean, you got to look. Not a good 6-on-5 so far for these Beacons. Just not a clear path and a clear description of what they're trying to do.
UMass making a change as we're now under 3 minutes. Time ticking away. That one goes past Friedman and DeLuzio. DeLuzio back to get it in his own end. Davis Browning back to DeLuzio. Gets it for Andy Walker. Walker now will bring it in. Gets hauled down, and that one wheeled all the way down the ice, just wide of the empty net. And an icing with 2:24 to go.
Still a chance. Put your best center in there. See what side. It should be on the right side, so I would think this would be, and they're going to put Bankowskis' line out there. So they like the fourth line here tonight. They do have 2 of the points. Banks has the goal. Bankowskis has the assist. That's actually on the left side.
So a face off to the right of Simon Brenter. Alan Mester Hersey on the face off with Koye Bankowskis. The officials discussing something at center ice.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is about. It's pretty evident it was an icing.
Maybe discussing who shouldn't be on the ice and who should be.
Potentially. But if I'm the Beacons, I really could care less. I mean, the longer you guys talk about it.
Exactly. Maybe a penalty behind the play that we didn't see at the other end.
Maybe. This is bizarre. This really benefits Castleton here off the icing. I mean, they're just gaining a lot of extra air right now. So, and I didn't see, there's no motion to either bench in terms of a penalty.
I gotta say, another interesting thing about this is you don't see them inside the officials' circle where they normally would be discussing it.
Correct.
But a lengthy discussion nonetheless. And finally a decision made, it seems like. And looks like we might have a penalty here.
Too many? Yeah, too many.
So UMass may be guilty of having 7 guys on the ice.
You know what's strange about that though is they didn't call the penalty. Clearly they had to talk about it. They didn't call the penalty until after the icing. So if the icing never happens, does the penalty ever get called? I mean, it seemed like the icing happened, then there was the discussion, then the too many men on the ice was called.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. There was an interesting scenario in one of the Beanpot games last week. It was Harvard and BC, where it was actually right off the bat, Harvard had scored, and they waved off the goal because they reviewed it, and they came to the conclusion there was too many men on the ice. The weird thing about that situation was, though, they didn't call a penalty, they just waved off the goal.
It's a major, though. So it's not even a bench minor for too many. I have no idea. I have no idea what this call is. We're going to have to see what the announcement is.
Perhaps a hit to the head. I did see the official go to his head, maybe.
Right. But again, that discussion happened after the play. It was after the icing. So if the icing never happens, I don't know if we ever get called. Let's see what the announcement is. Yeah, contact to the head. I don't know. Bizarre that they needed that much time. If usually with contact to the head, it's an immediate. It's very evident. I don't know. That's bizarre to me. And then on top of it, it's either a penalty or it's not. Why did you need a full minute to discuss it? And we're not on the ice, so we can only estimate at this point. But just a bizarre call here, and I think it's probably locking in the win for Castleton.
Yeah, very bizarre sequence there. Nonetheless, we didn't even see where the penalty occurred. As that puck wheeled in, Simon Brenter will leave it off. Zach Whitaker taking his sweet time. He'll leave it off for Papa Petros. That wheeled ahead into the Beacons' end.
The only thing I'm still on this, the only thing I could think of is if after the icing, if there was some sort of altercation and that's where the penalty took place behind the play. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of where the referees would need that type of discussion to call a major hit to the head. Would be is if after the icing, if there was some sort of scrum and Freeman made contact to the head. That would be the only scenario in my experience in the game of why a conversation was needed and how a penalty like that could be called at this stage of the game.
Well, I was watching the puck because it was close to going into the empty net, as I'm sure you were as well.
Correct,
so
yeah.
It had to have been behind the play as that one chipped in for an icing. 35 seconds to go here.
Unlikely to impact the outcome of the game either way. I mean, the Beacons were running real short on time, but I just, it's curious to me when those types of things happen. So they'll pull the goalie, 35 seconds here, and nothing to lose. You might as well. We should take a minute to thank our broadcasting group. While we have a full amount of fans out there, this team does a fantastic job, and there's the empty net. As this is likely our last broadcast of the year, for the men's side at least. We'll see, I believe, probably in general. I think the women might still have a shot. It's guaranteed now,
yes.
So it's always a little sad when we won't be joining our fans out there in Beaconville, but thank you for tuning in, and thank you for our team behind the scenes of putting a great broadcast together.
Without a doubt. Very hard-working crew. As Jason Atkinson put that empty netter home. The freshman of Oakland, New Jersey, gets his third of the year, putting it away for Castleton. So the Beacons are now locked in to the 6th seed here in the New England Hockey Conference, and they're either going to play Babson or Elmira in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, and you know what, the hard part about this too is, you know, you want to go into the conference play with some momentum, right, and feeling good about your team, feeling good about yourself. I mean, you're going to look back on this weekend, you scored 2 goals in 2 games, and you lost senior night, and you lost a heartbreaker the night before against Skidmore in OT when you had a 2-on-0 and you hit a crossbar. You missed on the 2-on-0 and you had a crossbar before that. Just a hard weekend. I think this team is going to have to dig deep, regardless of what the matchup is, whether it's Skidmore or Elmira. Both, or I'm sorry, would most likely be Babson. Two tough matchups. So I think this team's got to find a way to dig deep here after a weekend where it really didn't go the way they had planned.
Well, and all that, Dakota Kincannon was assessed a penalty, but that'll do it, as the Beacons will drop their final 2 home games of the season, heading into the tournament on a 4-1 win for Castleton. As they're walked into the 8th seed, they'll play Hobart, but not the way the Beacons wanted their season to end at home here.
No, not at all. It's tough on senior night, you know, especially a lot of these seniors have family in town. I'm sure they'll be going to dinner after. Feels a lot better. The food tastes better when you're coming off a victory versus a loss like this, a 4-1 loss at home. Especially how the game had gone. It looked like there were a few points in that game where UMass really was trying to walk away with it. They were up 1-0 early and just couldn't find a way to get that second goal. And I think they gave so much time back to Castleton. When they got that first one, it seemed like something had clicked and they were able to get a few more and really knock this Beacons team out. It didn't seem like after that second goal had gone in, and especially in this third period, that the Beacons had much of a response offensively, at least not enough to get back into the game.
Well, final score here from Edward T. Berry Ice Rink in the final hockey game of the season for UMass, both men's and women's. Castleton 4, Beacons 1. We'll be back to wrap up our final broadcast with our game summary, or game stats and scoring summary on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and
to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one.
And welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink to wrap things up. Castleton defeating UMass Boston 4-1 the final. As we look at our final scoring summary, Jacob Banks opened the scoring at 2:11 of the first period, 5th of the season from Koya Benkauskas and Nick DeLuzio. But after that, it was all Castleton. Cedric Theodore getting his first career collegiate goal from Ballard Mesterhazy. And then Dylan Roebuck, his second of the year from Kyle Sargent. And then on the power play, Andrew Staffer grabbing his team leading 14th of the season from Zach Whitaker. And then Jason Atkinson sealing it with an empty netter, also credited as a power play goal from Normio Terrain. And that's all the scoring we had. And we'll take a final look at our game stats from this afternoon. Beacons. We were just saying off air, the moral of the season has kind of been the Beacons have outshot their opponents, but can't find a way to win the hockey game. 41-27, they win. Sam Best making 23 saves, 40 saves for Brenter, who really played solid today. Hadn't seen much action coming into this game, making 40 saves. Beacons end up winning the faceoff battle 31-30, and really the moral of, or the story of the season, the power play just hasn't really found its rhythm, and Castleton cashing in twice. But once again, Mizey, not the way the Beacons wanted to wrap up the regular season.
No, tough, and it sounds like they're going to have a matchup against their former crosstown rival. It's still, in a lot of sense, it still is their rival. I know their travel partners Johnson and Wales now, but for many years it was against Babson. And they're going to get matched up against them. It sounds like the way the score is played out, it's going to be a road game against Babson, which in a lot of ways is good. That's going to allow them an extra night in their own bed. It's only about a 20-minute ride, so you don't have to worry too much about being on the bus too long. Versus what was looking like I thought was going to be an Elmira matchup. That's definitely an extra night in a hotel and a more significant bus ride. So that's a positive. I think this team needs a good week of practice. I think this is going to have a really negative effect the way this weekend went in terms of just the morale and the mentality in the locker room. Got to have a good week of practice. Got to erase it. Now it's all win or go home from here on out. So you've got a decent matchup against the team you beat on your home ice not too long ago, a few weeks ago. Got to focus on that. Replay that video as much as possible, because I think a lot of the things that they did when they had success doing in that game, they didn't necessarily do this weekend. They got to get back to that grind out type of play where they're grinding in front of the net. We saw it a few times, a few shifts there where it felt like it was trying to happen, but as you mentioned, the offense just isn't good enough to try and create from the perimeter. They got to get to the front of the net if they're going to score, especially against this Beaver team.
We talked about it. Another matchup too that you kind of like is UMass already defeated Babson earlier this season, as that's who they'll most likely face in the conference tournament. But we'll sign off for the final time this season. Just once again want to thank our productions crew, who were spectacular all season with replay, camera, and everything. As our producer Michael Vesey, director Maria Spilios, camera operators Gina Albano, Dylan Wurtzberger, Miranda Cuddy, Elisa Bianco, Tam Landry on graphics, and replay Elena Albano. For the final time this season, Andrew Bluestein for Matt Meisenbacher signing